What up? I'm T Large.
Hey y'all, I'm Ashley.
And this is
Small Talking with the Largest.
I don't have but a sip left.
I know.
That's what you get when you're making back-to-back episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I only had the one bottle of champagne this time.
Sheesh, we ran through.
Next time I know I gotta buy two.
So yeah, with that being said, if y'all see episode 1, you know, if it was declining fast or if it was getting better fast, it's because we was running through a bottle of champagne, running through mimosas, while we recorded. But here we are at part 2 of episode 6. So this is episode 7, but it's the story of us part 2.
Yes, correct.
So
episode 106 and 107 is a 2-part series.
So if you haven't seen episode 6, the story of us, it talks about all of 2016, from us reconnecting through us becoming a couple on Halloween of 2016. And now episode 7, part 2, we're going to talk about Halloween of 2016 through Memorial Day of 2017.
Yes.
Which was like where we went from figuring out how to be a couple to like living in a house together the whole 9.
Yes.
So because we had like our journey was quick.
Yes, it was very it was fast, unexpected, just things happen very fast.
So one thing we did not talk about to set the stage is you were living back at home during this time. After your divorce, you made the decision to move back home. What was that about?
I decided to just move back home with my parents. I just really didn't know what was going to be next for me. I was strongly considering moving away from Huntsville and just getting a fresh start. So in the midst of me deciding where I want to really lay some roots, it just made sense for me to stay at home and stack my bread and do all those things.
Going back home until you figure out where you really wanted to be post-divorce.
For sure.
Okay, because Huntsville was starting to be a little less desirable to you.
For sure. I was over Huntsville, yeah. Okay. I was, done with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you and I popped off.
Then I met your lovely face.
And then you was like, okay, I'm gonna stick around Huntsville for a second.
With your lovely face.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're living at home. We're officially a couple. We're officially a couple that are each got a divorce in their back pocket.
Yes.
So we had kind of got to our parents. It was like, all right, y'all done already bumped your head against the wall.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I remember us dating and me bring you back home from dates and, you start to say, hey, listen, like I'm grown.
Yeah.
I'm grown. Don't ever play yourself. But I do live under mommy and daddy's roof right now.
Yes.
And they are old school through and through.
Yes, they were definitely old school. Do not be coming in here every night at 2 a.m. And you need to be returning here every night.
Yeah.
There was they did not believe in you grown, but you can be gone all night and stay away and all of that. If you live here, you need to be here every night.
And I respect that. I respect that tremendously of your parents. That's the way you and I are going to be as our children grow up. You always going to respect the rules of this house. The door is always open for you, but when you live here, these are the rules. This house has a set of rules that are probably different than you on your own.
Yes.
So, dates because we was like dates, we was head over heels during this stage.
We were smitten.
So dates was ending at 3 and 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm dropping you back off and you don't want to be grown as hell having to twist the lock softly.
Feels very stupid.
Yeah.
It feels very dumb to be kind of like sneaking back into a home when you're 30.
Yeah. So you and I started having conversations, and I told you, hey, I'm brave enough to go. I'll go knock on the front door.
Yeah. Because at this time I had not introduced you.
You hadn't even introduced me.
Yes,
yeah.
I had not introduced you.
We were a couple, but I hadn't been introduced formally.
Yeah.
I met them in passing, but it wasn't really like he's the guy.
Yeah, this is my man.
Yeah, you were reluctant.
Daddy, this is my man.
Yes, because your parents, even though you had been, from what you said, emotionally disconnected from your according to your parents, your marriage ended in April or May of 2016.
Yeah.
So
and now you got a boyfriend.
And that goes against everything that
the marriage had been over since like September of 2015.
So you had already crossed your year.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but you wanted to wait out of respect for your parents. It was like, nah, I need to give mom and dad a year to.
Well, I won't even say I need to give mom and dad a year, but yes, you were my man, but I didn't, like, we go together, but I don't know what this looks like for you and I. Like, I didn't feel the need to just be introducing my parents to any and everybody I was
Because
dating.
I might have been willy-nilly.
Yeah, we might have broke up the next day.
Okay.
And you done met my folks for what?
Okay, I'm with that.
Yeah.
So ultimately did meet them.
Yes.
And they were a little surprised because my resume said, oh, he got kids every damn where.
He got kids and a divorce.
Yeah.
And baby mama.
So it was like, girl, they was looking at you like, what have we done?
My mom definitely for sure was like, hey, you know, I get it. Because, okay, so for me, the big emphasis was on dating somebody different.
Okay.
My ex-husband and I had a lot of the same personality traits. Okay. The guy that I had kind of spent the block with a couple times, he and I were a lot alike in a lot of ways as far as our demeanor. So I'm like, okay, let me do something different. Like, I want to marry an older guy. Because those guys, I mean, you're 5 years older than me. Those other guys that I had dated previously were like my same age group. Okay. So I wanted an older guy.
Yep.
I wanted a guy that didn't have young children. I was fine with children because previously I dated 0 kids.
Yeah.
Like, you have children of any, if you have offspring, no.
I'm out.
So this time I was like, okay, I'll date somebody with kids, but they need to be older.
Okay.
So those were like my 2 main things.
So you really wanted a dude that he was 46, 47.
Yes.
He had a 19-year-old that was away at college.
Yes.
And he was a great father, but the child wasn't, he had already done the day-to-day work.
Yeah.
That was your dream script.
The in-house kids coming in and whatever was ideal for me, yes.
Okay. And at the time I had a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. And so you really broke, wow. So I get why your parents were shocked.
Yeah,
but
this was totally new to them.
I went and chopped it up with the parentals.
You did.
Got to know them, got them sign off, except your dad was like, hey, this 3 a.m. dropping her off after a date ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna work.
And
for
so
me.
I said, okay, so here's the situation. I look at you all as my future in-laws. I don't want to get on your bad side. But I'm also 35 and she's 30. I can't tell you I'm gonna have her home by midnight.
Right.
It just ain't gonna happen.
It's probably not gonna happen.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and ask her to move in with me. And I know that's early and I know it's whack and I know y'all looking at me sideways, but I'm going to earn everything else on that other side of the coin. We're going to figure it out. We're going to become a couple. We're going to get engaged. We're going to get married. I'm going to do all the things, but Pops, I just can't keep bringing her home at 11:59. I just can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
And so your parents were not the happiest. However, they knew we were grown and we were both on our second marriage.
Yeah.
And so they both said, we not going to tell grown folk what to do.
Right.
You just can't do it here.
Yes.
So if this is what y'all want to do,
yeah,
you doing it on your own, you stepping out there on your own, and you got to deal with it on your own.
We'll holler at y'all later.
And
just can't do that around here.
And so March of 2017, you showed up with a couple duffel bags.
I did.
And it was and a bunch of tears.
Yes.
You cried and cried because you just didn't. Life had spun you around.
Life was not going as planned.
Life had spun you. I'm talking about even with me. Like it's like I did not plan to be divorced.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm duffel bagged up at my new guy's house.
Yeah, period. Life did not go as planned.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I sat down with the kids and I explained to them what was going on. Hey, I'm crazy about her. She's not necessarily bonus mom yet. But she's here contributing and things like that. And I want to get to know her. And I couldn't necessarily do that. Now, the opposite end of the deal is we could have just been unselfish and just been home at midnight. But, you know, you always say, say, hey, midnight. What'd you say?
I didn't understand what you just said.
But you knew what I was saying.
Just to say. Okay, yes.
I had to have you. I had to have you around the house.
Oh my gosh.
So here we are getting it started.
Yeah.
And we went to the bank and we set up a joint account.
Yeah.
What were we thinking? We hadn't even been together
We were
6
so
months.
Stupid. We were so stupid. We set up a joint account.
We had a joint account that was initially just like a rent, utility bill,
Yeah.
and maybe one other thing, rent, utility, or whatever. It was, and that was it.
Yeah.
But initially, like that was in. I want to be clear because it's like, damn, T, she moved. She was not paying bills. March of that, she was not paying bills. We did that so that we could start getting an understanding of how it was going to go when we eventually had a house together.
Right.
So we had this account that we were going to start to learn how to share money out of.
Yes.
You did not come into my apartment and bust down half the rent or nothing like that. No. I took care of all the bills, y'all. Don't ever play yourself.
Please
We had goals that were in the future.
Yes.
And we wanted to start working towards them.
Yes.
And so we started, okay, if we have a joint account, we can start to learn how to share money out of there.
Yeah, we were just kind of setting ourselves up and getting used to a new way of doing things.
Yeah. But that was my apartment that you moved into with duffel bags. And so I told you, you're not paying no bills, nothing like that, because we not even sure what's finna happen.
Yes.
However, by your birthday, which is so crazy, your birthday is May 27th.
I'm about to say that if you don't know my birthday.
May 27th is your birthday. By the time, so you moved in like March 1.
Yes.
By your birthday, we had a house. We had joint account.
Yeah.
We had you had a new job.
Yeah.
Life had did a number on you.
Life had done a number from October to May. I had a whole new life.
Remember the night before you started the new job? I'll never forget this. You were in the mirror crying because you were like, what has happened to me? There's that point where you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself. And not all of it was bad by no means.
It wasn't bad.
But things had happened so fast for you. Yeah. You kind of didn't recognize yourself for a second.
Yeah, it was exactly what you said. From October of 2016 to May of 2016, I had moved twice.
Yes.
I had a new job and a new salary.
Yeah.
What else happened? I had basically a boyfriend and 3 bonus kids.
Crazy.
I was learning a co-parenting situation. Yeah. I was introduced to 2 mothers of your children. Yeah. Well, actually, at this point by May, I had met all 3.
They met all 3.
I had met all 3. Met all 3 mothers. Had built relationships with 3 of the 4 children. Yeah. Like a lot had happened. We had gone to Indy and met your mom and hung out with Layla that weekend, and it was just a lot that happened. Yeah. And so I remember the night before you started your new job, you kind of had a breakdown. It's like, what has happened to me? Like, because you prided yourself on knowing yourself, past and future. Yeah. And then I'm a human tornado for your life, and you just was like, what is going on, girl? Like, kind of like, get it together. Like, get the script back. Get back in charge of the script. Yeah. Get it together from the standpoint of, okay, like, it's been a lot of changes. Yeah. Like, enough with the changes for now. Yeah. Like, let's plant some roots. Let's get grounded in some type of way, and then we'll get back to the changes in a few months. What was it like for you? What was early like for meeting the kids and that type of like I remember I used to always get on to you because we would go in Target as a family, and you kind of wouldn't walk. Like, I know you don't like to admit it, but you didn't come in with bonus mom of the year energy. You came in like still trying. You were walking lightly. You were treading lightly in the beginning.
True or false?
I was treading lightly, but that's just what I do.
That's just, yeah,
lightly.
that's who you are. Yes.
That's who I am. I sit around and I observe situations first.
What you did was on brand, but in that moment, it felt like, I'm like, well, why you not walking with us? Why you not picking Caden up? She fine. Why you not? You know, it just was a lot. And but I'm glad, in hindsight, I'm glad you didn't come in hella extra like that.
Right.
I like the way you came in because it allowed, the bonds you have with the children now are very natural, but they're very real connections because you did not force anything in the beginning.
Yeah.
You was not overly forcing yourselves on them. You were there, but y'all grew and figured it out together.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do, was for us to grow.
Yeah.
The three of us, or the four of us, to grow. I have my own separate relationship with the three, you know, that are here locally. And then the four of us have a relationship together. And it's, like you said, it's very natural. I didn't force anything. Of course, I kind of directed conversations because that's what adults do with children.
Right.
But as far as just like, you know, forcing them to hug me or, you know, just doing all of these things, to me, that wasn't my approach. That wasn't the way. And I'm glad that I did it the way that I did. I think I've told you this before, but I did kind of struggle in the beginning. I did think that you were very kind of like, you know how the parent teaches their kid to swim by throwing them in the middle of the lake, and you just got to keep yourself from drowning?
Yes.
Like, I felt like that's how you did me. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I felt like that's how you did me. You know, I would come to you and I would ask you questions about the kids, and you basically didn't answer the questions and kind of told me to figure it out. And I'm like, well, why do I need to figure it out? Like, you would just tell me and I could go in the door, like getting a home run and, you know, doing all of that initially. But for you, you didn't necessarily take that approach.
No, I took the approach of like, I wanted you to figure it out on your own. I knew very earlier that you kind of think along straight lines. And so I felt like had I left breadcrumbs, you would have only walked that straight path. And so I wanted you to figure things out on your own so that you have this ability to change, ability to pivot, ability to look left and look right energy as far as being a bonus mom, as opposed to just doing the specific task. Because in the beginning, you were very task oriented with being a bonus mom. Like, okay, if this is what they need, I'm going to do that. And then boom, I've done it. Boom. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted you to be open to fail. I wanted you to be open to sink or swim. I wanted you to be open to the high and the low and things like that. And so, you know, there was some growing pains therein, but I do believe I made the right decision in that. Now I probably should have, there's some areas, some simple areas I should have told you about, because there were embarrassing incidents where you cooked whole meals with foods that none of us liked, and I knew none of us liked or whatever. Maybe I didn't necessarily know you were cooking that, but if I told you, hey, nobody in this family does sour cream, you know, you wouldn't have put that on everybody's taco on day one or whatever the case may be. But it just was like, so there were some instances where I did set you up for failure there. I should have been more upfront and say, hey, we don't really get down with spinach like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for you, you know, you don't have to cook this item or whatever. Because I do remember a couple times you fixed a meal and then all of us was looking at each other like, oh, she didn't know that we don't eat this or whatever. And then you were frustrated when you didn't have to be. So there were some communication errors on my fault.
Yeah. And I appreciate you for acknowledging that. So so it was times, where I kind of felt like you could have, giving me a heads up. Yeah. But, you live and you learn, and that's what I did. Yeah. I figured it out, so it's all good. But I wanted the relationships with the trio to be natural, to be whatever our connection is, to be built naturally and not forced. And that's exactly what happened. So everything kind of happened the way it was supposed to.
It did. And by May of 2017, we were in a house. We were in a great neighborhood with a ton of I'm going to have fond experiences on those years because we were on a block where, to my knowledge, there were 6 or 7 2-parent black households.
Yeah.
And so it just felt good to be around in that energy. None of us were perfect. Right. Everybody was trying to figure it out, but everybody was trying.
3 blended families that I could think of,
3,
too.
Yeah. So it was a great, that house was a great time for everybody, because we were all just kind of figuring it out together, how to be blended family, how to be black household with, working parents and kids, and I'm not going to go so far as to say middle class, but trying to afford them a life better than the one many of us grew up in.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it just was it was a great situation those years there.
Yeah,
was
and
excellent.
just, like I said, going back to the co-parenting 2-parent household situations, like, you and I were co-parenting with your children.
Yeah.
I know, another couple, both of them had children from previous relationships, and they had children together.
Yeah.
Another couple was very similar to where the husband came in with children from a previous relationship, and the wife didn't have any. So it was, like you said, we literally used to just kind of hang out.
Yeah, it was good.
And figure this thing out together.
Yeah. Nobody was perfect.
How do y'all handle this? When the oldest mama say this, and whatever. We were figuring this thing out.
Yeah, I missed that energy. That was good energy.
Yeah, it was.
So
nice
shout out to everybody that was on Pine Landing with us. That's special.
That's definitely going to be a time. Like, I know for me, when I think about my childhood, I think back to Tall Timber Circle, where we used to ride bikes. We used to go pull honeysuckle off a bush.
Yeah.
We used to ride on Maston Lake and go to Lucky's and go buy candy. Like, to me, Northside, growing up off of Maston Lake, was like what I remember.
That was a special
and
era
I think
for
our kids, Pine Landing, and riding their bikes, and playing in the sprinklers, house hopping, doing all of that is gonna be like their memories.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So why don't we do this? Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Let's come back, and we'll, maybe a last couple questions each, and we'll wrap it up.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Peace.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back.
So tell me, as we move to close, what's a takeaway? Like, what's a coulda, woulda, shoulda? Like, we probably should have done this better, or you probably could have done this better from our early era. What's our early lesson? Maybe, I don't know if I want to go so far as to say a redo, but what's an early lesson that you learned?
I would say for me, a shoulda, coulda, woulda was I should have, when I was trying to learn more things about how a household with kids operates, like asking you those questions, I should have been more adamant and following up with you about getting answers.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to, like, figure it out, whatever you would say.
Okay.
I should have been on you about giving me answers to those questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. It ended up well. I know what I need to know now at this point, but at times
it was agonizing.
Feel like it was very stressful.
Okay.
In a situation where I didn't need to be stressed out.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. What about you? A shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda for me would have been I would have taken a little bit more time to look at some of the communication differences between you and I. And that even to a certain degree ties in what you were saying. But I would have analyzed our preferred ways of communication, because I talk a lot of shit, but I don't necessarily be communicating. You are a high level communicator.
Yeah.
You want to talk and have these conversations and things like that. And I kind of just want to, kind of get through that part. And so I would have spent a little bit more time understanding what it was going to mean to be be with a high level communicator like you, because you pushed me in every area I didn't want to be pushed early.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to have top you wanted to have conversation and discuss things and get to the why of things and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, and I didn't, yeah. So I
You
would
weren't
have
interested in
yeah,
that.
but if I had spent a little bit more time thinking about what that meant, we might not have made it to where we, got to, because I definitely was not interested in that.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
obvious.
that was one of my early that was one of my early
obvious.
skip overs.
Yeah.
What was this? Oh, what's the skip over for you? So that was my skip over. I probably should have paid more attention to how you prefer to conversate and things like that, and ask questions and things like that.
A skip over for me was definitely the little, I guess, the red flags as far as what the red flags are for ADHD.
Oh, yeah. Because when that cycles up, you did have a hard time dealing with my ADHD. Yeah. And like not paying attention or losing things, because you're a person that prides themselves on not losing stuff,
Very rarely do I lose or misplace things.
Yeah. And so with me, especially with my ADHD, is kind of kicked up into high gear, whatever triggers it, and it goes into high gear. I'm a misplacing something person to the millionth percent.
Absolutely.
And it drives you crazy.
It does drive me crazy, because I guess it drives me crazy because it does it in ebbs and flows. Like some days some weeks you are perfectly fine. You know where your keys, you know where your things are.
Yeah.
And then there are stretches where every single day for 7, 8, 9, 10 days straight, where's my wallet? Where's my keys? Where's my cell phone? Where's my hangman spots? It's like, what?
Yeah, I almost
wish we could know where nothing is.
I almost wish we could just keep like a dot, because like if we figure out the trigger, then we can figure out how to treat it. Because I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then something will happen, and then it'll kick up into high gear, and I'm just a mess until it simmers back down again. And it's like that. So yeah, it's interesting how my ADHD kind of goes in waves.
Yeah, that was something for sure. Okay, that's the question that we've never discussed before. If what are the things that we bypass, the red flags that we saw, but didn't really kind of delve deep into. So for you, it was the way I communicate.
The way you communicate, the way you ask questions, the way you want to know things, the way you're not just you're not no shut up ass girl. It's like I just can't tell you something to get you up out of my face.
Yeah.
You gonna ask a second and a third question or whatever, because you genuinely want to know. You like to know things.
I do.
So and I'm just the type of person that don't always like to explain things. I just want to tell you the sky is blue today.
Yeah.
And I don't want you asking me why the sky is blue, because we woke up and when we looked up there it was blue. That's so, and I don't feel like telling you cumulonimbus cloud and all that type of stuff.
Cumulonimbus.
Yeah, cloud. I'm not in the mood for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about our shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Yeah.
What is something what was a positive, I'm better because of this from the early us days? Like, what paid dividends?
I would say because, so my family household, I have 2 older siblings. I guess I'm the baby. The middle brother left the house when I was 7.
Okay.
So from the time I was 7 until I left the house, I was by myself as the only child. So going from being an only child for a long period of time to, kind of just having a space to do what I want to do. Not even the rules, but the space to do what I want to do. And then coming into our household where it's now 5 of us. Yeah. It was a lot.
Okay.
Just having to share space, having to compromise my shower time, having to get up earlier in the morning so that, if I know I need to have the bathroom for 30 minutes, then I need to get up and be out of the bathroom before anybody else gets up and needs the bathroom. Yeah. Just, working my timeline, how my day is going to be, how I need to structure my time, and able to arrange everybody else in my time too. That was like a big, oh wow. It's not just me anymore.
But that has paid dividends.
Oh yeah, for sure. Time management.
Because I didn't know where you was gonna tell me how it was good.
Well, it paid dividends because I had to learn how to manage my time and be inclusive in a family. It's not about me anymore.
To be a slice of the pie.
Yeah, I'm a slice of the pie instead of the entire pie. Okay. And I think as a human being, you need to learn how to coexist with other people and not just be on your time all the time anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Yes, that's how.
I didn't know what you was talking. I didn't know if you was ever gonna say it benefited you.
Do
you want to be in a family?
Here we go. These are the benefits of how having to learn how to compromise in a household with children that are not necessarily yours, and all of those things. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Learning lessons.
For me. What paid dividends was you and I, just our ability to just kind of figure it out. Mm-hmm. You and I didn't know the script in them early days, and we was trying things. Okay, let's get a joint account after we've been knowing each other for 9 hours. Fine. Bring 2 duffel. Yeah, I'm gonna go to your parents and tell you she moving in with me after I just met her 4 months ago. All these different things. It's like, but it just gave a confidence because we were trying things and then we were successful at them. We were trying things and then we were rolling and figuring it out. Mm-hmm. And so there's never one script to it.
Right.
There's a bit of, we just got to make it us. And that was the thing. Early, you and I made a lot of things what's best for us. Yeah. And we put on blinders to the outside and we said, hey, this is what's best for us. Yeah. We know that it's going to sound confusing, sound ridiculous to the outside people, but we know what we're doing in this season. Even though we didn't know what we were doing, we told each other we knew what we were doing for us.
Yeah, and we were doing things. We didn't have a clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
And some things we still don't have a clue what we're doing now, but we did it our way.
And that's the thing. And so you and I now fight much bigger battles, knowing that as long as you and I are on the same page, we're willing to go to the battlefield. Yes. You know what I'm saying? We don't be having a lot of weapons on us. We ain't got a lot.
We ain't got the AK. We ain't got the Uzi. Okay?
We ain't got a lot of war stuff. Okay, but we was like, hey, do you want to fight today? Yeah, sure. And we headed out to battle. And that's kinda,
for real.
That's kind of been our thing. And so I think of that even from a spiritual standpoint, I kind of think about the David and Goliath situation. Because we be facing a lot of Goliaths. And David with like a knapsack that got like a rock in it. And, it ain't got a lot. It ain't got, but we just, we'll go to battle. Yeah, let's go.
We got some old guns.
Yeah, let's go fight
hand grenades.
Yeah. Some pawn shop hand grenades. Right. They might explode. They might not. We just
it's rusted off a little bit, but we got them though.
Yeah, and so that was my favorite thing about early you and I is. It just kind of made sense to us. Yeah. And that was kind of all we needed.
Yeah.
If it made sense to us, we was willing to jump out there.
We were really kind of our own cheerleaders, our own, not stunt guys. What is it? Hype men.
Hype men.
We stunt men. Everything.
Yeah, we did. We figured it out. So yes, it was good. And I think that's just that's what gives our marriage a huge confidence.
Yeah.
Is because we know that we fought some battles that we were way too unequipped for in the beginning, but we were just like, let's just go fight. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it. We love each other. Ooh.
Yeah, we love each other. Yeah, so that's it. So I'm proud of us.
Me too.
I'm proud of our journey. Our journey's not everybody's journey, but it's ours, and I'm proud of us. I'm proud of who we've become. We've stuck to doing this you and I thing our way.
Yeah.
And I would not change a day.
I wouldn't change a day either. And not only that, I feel like sometimes when you just have somebody telling you, okay, you need to do this, y'all need to do this, by this time y'all should be doing this. And that's fine and dandy if it works for you.
Right.
But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do it our way.
Yeah, we're just gonna do it our way.
So I've appreciated the fact that you and I are alike in that way, that we don't necessarily want the blueprint on how to do something.
Right.
we're going to do it our way.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk to you to pick your brain, not necessarily to say, hey, when this happened, what did y'all do?
Right.
But we're just going to have light conversation and take from it what we need in order to apply it to better ourselves. So
and that's
us.
been
my favorite.
And that is us. That is the story of us. There's probably some little details here and there, but that's the story of us, and I feel good about it.
Yeah. So let us know, y'all, in the comments what y'all think, what nuggets y'all took. Interact with us. Please. We want to interact with y'all. So yeah. Jump in the comments, let us know what y'all think. Episode 106, 107, the story of us.
Yes.
Part 1 and part 2.
Yep.
We'll be back. Part 108. Episode 108 coming soon.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you. See ya. Peace.